Hey everyone, and welcome to our lesson today with Juni Learning. My name is Genesis, and I am a math and computer science instructor with Juni Learning. About a year ago, I graduated from the University of Texas at Austin with a degree in mathematics, and I'm super passionate about math and computer science, and I hope to spread that passion to y'all today. Today, we're going to become familiar with the coordinate plane. And if you're not sure what that is, no worries, we're going to go into much detail about it today. So let's get started. On your warm-up sheet, you'll see that you have about 7 questions that pertain to the coordinate plane. And there's different topics like coordinate plane, coordinates, segments, points, and so on. And to start off, let's go ahead and talk about some important vocabulary that we have to know in order to do these problems. So if you look down here in the yellow box, you'll see that we have some important vocabulary like a coordinate plane, coordinates, points, lines, midpoints, and collinearity. And we're going to talk about what that means. So a coordinate plane is a special plane that has 4 quadrants. And if you look over here, you'll see that I've already drawn out a coordinate plane for us. And we're going to discuss what all of this lines and y-axis, x-axis means. And so a coordinate plane always has a horizontal line and a vertical line. And the horizontal line is called the x-axis, and the vertical line is called the y-axis. And they serve as sort of number lines where you can figure out exactly where a point in space is. So if you have a coordinate plane, you always have to have an origin in it. And the origin, as you can see here, is the little pink dot in the middle, and that just represents that we start at 0, 0. And since we start at 0, 0, we can kind of order out our number line. So if you see going this way, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the x-axis. But then going this way, we have negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, and so on. And this means that the x-axis sort of has 2 parts. To the right of the origin, we have our positive x values, and to the left of our origin, we have our negative x values. And the same applies for our y-axis, except we're going vertically. So above the origin, we have all of our positive y values, and below our origin, we have all of our negative y values. Awesome. And so we can actually denote coordinates on our coordinate plane, which means that we can actually find very precise locations of points or points that belong to a segment or so on. And this is denoted as x, y. So if you look at our origin up here, you see that we sort of have these parentheses and then we have 0, 0. And that indicates that our x value is at 0 and our y value is at 0. So if that's the case, we can also find different points that are not just 0, 0. So for example, let's say we had a point at -1, 1, like so. Then we would actually denote that as -1, 1, right? Our x value is at -1 and our y value is at 1. Or let's say if we were at 4 and 2, our point would be right here. And we would denote that as 4 since our x value is at 4 and 2 since our y value is at 2. And this works the same for all points. You can find a very specific place that a point is on the coordinate plane using the x and y coordinates. All right, awesome. And then we often represent points using a single letter like A or B or whatever you want for your choice. And that's going to come in handy for our problems today. Okay, awesome. We can also talk about a line segment. And a line segment, as you can see in our vocabulary, is a line created when we connect 2 points A and B. So let's say we have a point here and a point here, and we connect them together like this, and this is A and this is B instead of the other 2. And this is called a line segment, right? So we can also find lengths of line segments by using coordinates, like figuring out where A and B are. So here A would be at 2 and 7, and B would be at 6 and 7, right? This is our x coordinate, this is our y coordinate. Awesome. And then we can also find a midpoint of a segment. So a midpoint basically cuts a segment into 2 equal halves. So if we have a point like this, let's say it's C, that is indicating, or the problem will tell you that it's a midpoint, and when it says it's a midpoint, it's indicating that it's a point directly in the middle of a line segment, and it's cutting it into 2 equal halves, or at least it should. Awesome. And then one more term we should talk about is collinearity. And collinearity basically exists when we have 2 points on the same line, right? So if you see here on the segment we just drew, we didn't grow it. You'll see that A and C are collinear because they're on the exact same line as each other. A and B are collinear, C and B are collinear, right? But if we were to say this was, let's get rid of that A there and that B so they don't confuse us. If we were to say this was actually point F, if we were to say this is point F, then A and F are not collinear because they're not on the same line. We could draw a line between them and then they would be collinear, but since we don't actually have a line drawn to them right now, they're not collinear as of yet. Awesome.